Days after his blockbuster victory in the Rochdale by-election, George Galloway has officially been sworn in as MP in the House of Commons. He was introduced to the House by the father of the House, Sir Peter Bottomley, and the Alba Party MP, Neil Hanvey. Galloway's latest political comeback comes amidst growing concerns over MP security and a government crackdown on extremism in society. With me now is TalkTV's political correspondent, Alicia Fitzgerald. Alicia, busy day for you. So, Gorgeous George is back.
He is back.
Is he caused a stir? Are people excited in Westminster about this?
Well, it's really interesting because obviously this isn't his first time being an MP in Parliament. I mean, he first was a Labour MP, then represented the Respect Party, and now he's back for his third stint. And I feel like if you look at kind of his popularity over those three phases, his popularity was definitely at its best in that first stint when he was a Labour MP. He had quite a lot of support amongst left-wing members of the House of Commons. Lots of people thought he was a really important person to represent that type of political view. But I think his support has definitely dwindled over the years. And I think definitely in terms of the people within the House of Commons now, you have to think who really will his allies be? And you can assume it would be people probably like Jeremy Corbyn, someone else who was kind of ousted from the mainstream of political discourse, and people like that. And I'm actually told that he had a nice cosy meeting with Diane Abbott earlier today, and that was looking pretty chummy. So I think we can expect that.
I'm a fan of Jeremy Corbyn, I'll be honest. I know our viewers are not going to like hearing me say that. I'm a fan of Jeremy Corbyn. But is it not dangerous for him to be so closely associated with George Galloway when both of them have faced anti-Semitism claims in the past?
Well, it's interesting. So George Galloway is actually just giving a press conference outside the House of Parliament right now. And I'm told that there were obviously these reports that Jeremy Corbyn would be the MP who accompanies him during his kind of swearing-in process.
Yes.
And George Galloway actually just said, Jeremy Corbyn was supposed to be my sponsor, but he realised he had a long-standing commitment. So I don't know whether there's a little bit of shade thrown at Jeremy Corbyn there, but potentially that's what happened there. So, yes, I mean, I think there's kind of power in this at the moment. I think Jeremy Corbyn will see it as probably a positive thing that he has someone else in Parliament who represents the left of politics and who also doesn't really like Keir Starmer, because, I mean, both of those two political figures have made that very, very, very clear that they really don't like Keir Starmer as the leader of the Labour Party. So I reckon we can kind of see a lot of those really left-wing Labour MPs galvanising on that and maybe starting a little bit of a faction, perhaps.
Well, yeah, what does this mean for Keir Starmer? As I call him, Weak Keith. What does this mean for him?
I mean, realistically, in terms of what will actually happen at the general election, probably not loads, as in I don't think this is going to really have the power to totally change the outcome of the election. But another thing that George Galloway has just said in this press conference is that he's going to target seats like Angela Rayner's seat. Angela Rayner, Deputy Leader of the Labour Party.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Good. It's fantastic, yes.
So, obviously, George Galloway said when he won this by-election that he's going to stand loads of MPs, I think 59 MPs across the country in various seats, and challenge the Labour Party. And in a few seats, I think this will actually cut through, to be honest, because there's lots of seats where the population are maybe, like similarly in Rochdale, not happy with the Labour Party, don't like their stance, don't like their shift away from the left and slightly more towards the centre, who actually maybe, if they have a more left-wing figure, might actually go for it.
Well, let's go and see what George Galloway has been saying outside Westminster right now.
I think that we stand at a very dangerous crossroads in our country's affairs, perhaps as dangerous as any since the summer and autumn of 1940, 41, and there's no Mr. Churchill in this picture. There's no one, it seems, able to step forward and steady the ship of state and begin to rally, unite our people.
Even when he speaks as calmly as that, he's still so enthralling. He's just... I'm afraid, I think he's going to be a big problem for Labour. You were speaking just now saying that he's going to try and target some of the main seats. Wes Streeting, I think, should be most worried. Because look, there's only one George Galloway, and a large part of his appeal is that it is him. He can put in someone else in Ilford North, which is Wes Streeting's constituency, but that whoever it is, unless it's someone like Jeremy Corbyn, they don't have the same pull as George Galloway. But I still think they could be he could take votes away from the Labour Party in the same way that Reform are taking votes away from the Tories.
He definitely could, but if you look at it, it's in a numbers terms, right? So obviously, yes, Reform are a threat to the Conservatives, but really, are Reform going to be the reason that the Conservatives don't win the election? Probably not.
No.
In the same way that with this, I mean, yes, this might take away some seats that Labour could have won, potentially, but will it really impact whether or not they win the election? Probably not as well. That's not to say it doesn't have a powerful message. And I think that's really what George Galloway is trying to do here. He doesn't for 1 minute think that he's going to have a majority of MPs in his party. He doesn't think they're all going to win the general election.
Of course.
What I think he really thinks is that he can kind of galvanise that left-wing movement and get more people on side and more people kind of against the Labour Party, as they likely will be in government next. And I think that's the issue.
Right.